Grades 11 and 12, these are the answers for your chemistry revision. Okay, number 1, the overall photosynthesis reaction is, first of all, it is endothermic because it requires the presence of energy. It uses the energy during the reaction, and it's not spontaneous because it has to be started in a certain way. Number 2, which of these compounds is a product of protein synthesis? Of course, whenever protein is formed, one of the product is water. What aspect of a protein is described as the tertiary structure? Tertiary means 3, so it's C as it's D, the three-dimensional shape of the protein molecule. Number 4, the active site of an enzyme functions by, okay, so whenever an enzyme is present during a chemical reaction, the aim of the enzyme is to make the chemical reaction happen. Okay, so it holds a substrate in a position that favors a particular reaction. It is going to keep the substrate, which are the reactants, in a certain place to make sure that the chemical reaction happens. So the enzyme is just a kind of catalyst that pushes the chemical reaction to happen. Number 5, what are the 2 carbohydrates produced by plants? Of course, the most famous carbohydrates that are produced by plants are the starch and cellulose. Number 6, the process used in genetic fingerprinting to multiply the available DNA is, okay, so in order to take a single hair from a person and then look it under the microscope, what do scientists use? They use the polymerase chain reaction, which helps to increase the number of DNA molecules, and then they can test it and make sure that this belongs to a certain person. Number 7, the part of a fat molecule that allows it to interact with polar molecules. Polar molecules means that it's like water. So 2 parts of the fat. Hydrophobic means that it's afraid of water, so it will not be this part. And hydrophilic is the part that can deal with polar molecules as water. And of course, it's not amino, because the amino is mainly present in proteins. Number 8, for photosynthesis, the Gibbs free energy is positive. Okay, it's the free energy, the Gibbs free energy is positive. The breakdown of a polysaccharide is an exothermic reaction. When sugars are broken down, they give out energy. This is why you get energy by the breaking down of sugar in your cells, and this is how you can move. Carbohydrate molecules contain atoms of course, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, CHO. What are the starting materials for plants to produce carbohydrates? Again, it's carbon dioxide and water. It is the photosynthesis reaction that you have been learning since you were in grade 3. What are the characteristic functional groups of monomers that form proteins? So monomers that form proteins are the basic unit that form proteins. The basic unit that form proteins should be an amino group and an organic acid group. So 12D. The base sequence G, CA, TG, CCA could represent a part or a sequence of only DNA. Why did we choose DNA and not RNA? Because the base T is only present in DNA and is replaced by U in case of RNA. So whenever you see RNA, it's not the answer, and the only answer is DNA. 14. In a DNA molecule, the base sequence of the 2 strands is complementary. We said that one strand, for example, contains a certain base, and the other one contains the other complementary base. The T is always completing A, and the G and C are always completing each other. 15. What technique is used to make bacteria that produce drugs? Again, recombinant technology. So they use the bacteria in order because they reproduce in a large number in order to form large amounts of the drug, and it's done by recombinant DNA technology. 16. Peptide bond determine the primary structure of protein. Which parts of a protein structure can be affected by denaturing? Denaturing of protein means changing the shape of the protein. For example, when you boil an egg, the albumin, which is the white of the egg, instead of being viscous and watery, it becomes solid. Okay, so what part of the protein that can be affected by denaturing? It is the tertiary structure. The first step in protein synthesis is the unwinding of a segment of the DNA molecule. We said that the DNA molecules are double-stranded. So in order for a protein to be synthesized, the first step is to literally open part of this DNA molecule so it can copy the sequence in order to make a protein. Cellular respiration is a process that occurs in the cells of course, both plants and animals. Because although the plants, they produce their food by photosynthesis, this food, in order to be used by the plant, in order to repair and reproduce, it is done through cellular respiration. What type of biological molecule provides the main source of human food energy? Carbohydrate, without thinking. The base sequence G, C, A, G, C, A could represent part again of either DNA or RNA. Why did we change this time? Because this time, if you look at the sequence, there are no T. Okay, if there were T here, we wouldn't mention RNA, because again, in RNA, the T base is replaced by U. So instead of thymine, we have uracil. So if you see the sequence without T, it could be present in DNA or RNA. If there is T involved, it's only DNA. Number 22. Side chains affect a protein structure by forming chemical bonds with other side chains. Of course, this is the main way the proteins react with other proteins. A gene is a sequence of DNA that holds the code for manufacture of a polypeptide. How is the gene expressed? The gene expressed through the production of protein. Cysteine is unique among amino acids because it can form disulfide bridge with other cysteine units. This is why it is different from other amino acids. What is the primary function of glucose in your body? To carry energy through the circulatory system to the cell. Again, the glucose in your body is the basic unit for production of ATP. And ATP, as we said before, is the energy currency of the cells. 26. The reaction of amino acids to form a protein is an example of two things: polymerization and then condensation. Polymerization means that 1 and 2 and 3 and many amino acids are going to combine together, and then condensation in order to produce the actual protein. 27. For cellular respiration, the value of entropy is, so for cellular respiration, what is entropy? Okay, remember 2 years ago we were learning about entropy, and we said that entropy is the measure of a system's thermal energy. So it is a measure of the amount of heat present in a system. So for cellular respiration, the value of entropy is positive, means that for cellular respiration there is a production of energy. Number 28. The monomer of both starch and cellulose is glucose, because glucose is the building unit of both starch and cellulose. During cellular respiration, ADP is converted into ATP because it is adding one phosphate group and producing ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell.